Okay, great. Hi, Mom. Nice to see you.
Yeah, so we didn't do Zoom for a while, I guess.
I know, we're always just FaceTiming if we can, and then I'm just showing you my dog.
Yeah.
And then
Every
every
time when I
time I
want to ask
show,
about,
and then every time I
every
want
time
to
when
show
I ask,
Phoebe, exactly. About to say the same thing. Every time I show Phoebe, you say, "Let me talk about B-Edge. That's my Phoebe."
true.
Okay, so we're here to kind of chat a little bit about the edge and also how we think about it, because I think you and I have really different perspectives. But I prepared a few questions, and I think it's going to help maybe me understand where you're coming from. And also, I think if I don't understand, then like, how do the people that we talk to understand? So my first question for you is, I know your history and your career, I think quite a bit of it, but I probably don't even know the extent of it. So we use the term job hop a lot, and I think I know that you have technically job hopped many times, some of them very extreme, like going from Belarus to the US. That's a good job hop. But can you talk about the last time that you remember feeling like stuck or in a rut before making a decision to make the strategy change or moving to a new job or moving to a new professional space at all?
Still wouldn't call this job hop. I just don't resonate with this. So it's my terminology. For me, job hop when people leave jobs because they feel stuck, just because they feel unhappy, just because they feel that it's a plateau or it's not them, or they do something meaningless and they leave the job very often without really exit strategy, like what I'm leaving for. I don't think that I did it, honestly. So I guess maybe intuitively I was strategic kind of all my life, professional. But feeling stuck, oh yeah, absolutely. Feeling anxiety, like where I am, what am I doing? Like, is it all? Is it like I'm done? Is it like 25? I have my child, I have my diploma, I have my job, the next station is retirement. Yes, I absolutely felt this. I just didn't hope immediately. I took my time to kind of prep for the next move. And I'm not sure that it's good or bad because I wasted my time sometimes for this, but this is me.
Hmm. Interesting. You mentioned that like people job hop, the terminology job hop is because someone feels unhappy before they leave, but you said that wasn't you. Do you think that before you decided to make the exit, like you thought about, well, I could be happy here if I just stay?
It's just not me. I cannot be happy. I know that some people love comfort, and my one of my favorite podcasters, Gardeva, she asked people, "What would you choose, freedom or safety?" And I am the freedom, But there are many people who would choose comfort zone, safety, know what they're doing, the same people around, all love them, etc., etc. They love themselves. They might choose to stay and be happy. But because my personality is different, I just cannot be stuck. If I feel
Hmm.
stuck, I immediately started to think how to not to be stuck, how to unstuck myself. This would be me. And the first time I felt it actually was when I still was in college.
Hmm.
How strange it sounds. Like, yeah, I was in the college where not American system, but more European system. It's a cohort system where you join your degree from the first year and you stay in this degree. It's we call this not cafeteria approach like in America. You
Hmm.
kind of take different courses and you can change your degree, just recombine these courses and take a couple extra ones. Not a chance in where I was. So I joined my degree of a teacher, school teacher, and yeah, very soon I realized that I am in a, like in the third year, maybe I realized that like, oh my God, it's not me.
Hmm.
It's just not me. I don't feel me there. And I did feel stuck. And so I did consider actually dropping college, not college dropping altogether, but kind of to not to waste my time. Why am I here if it's not my degree? But again, because that system, for me, it meant that I had to start all together, like
Hmm.
from the beginning. And taking again exams, entering exams, and like all from the very beginning. And I was already in my third year of 4 years. And it was a very much time of anxiety, very much. And I had two options. Option to accept my already made investment, 3 years of being here, and kind of at least moving some period of time, right? Because I already invested so much. Or to drop, or to think how to use that already made investment, but to turn this around, which again was not easy in that environment. And I choose the last one. So
Hmm.
I remember that it took me a lot of time to start thinking like, okay, who am I then? Okay, if I'm not a teacher, I like teaching, but like children, elementary school, it's fun, but repeating again and again and again and again the same cycle, I felt that I might be not intellectually challenged.
Hmm.
And my mom told me, go to engineers. My dad called me, you would be amazing lawyer. And I didn't resonate with any of them. And it's just like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? And then somehow the idea of psychology came. I don't even remember how. Maybe it was fancy at the time. Maybe it was some kind of reading books. I don't remember. But I started more and more envision myself as a kind of somebody who have my own office, and people come and I work with them, and I always very fancy dressed, and I have nice life. And this idea of to become psychologist hooked me. So again, I was stuck, but I took my time for last year of college. I didn't really invest. I still graduated with a good score, of course, but because I already knew that the next move would be to the psychologist move.
Hmm.
And this could be master, this could be doctorate. And I kind of ask myself who I see myself better. And I guess I was open for opportunities, but I knew that I was not stuck anymore. Does make sense? So it helped me to feel that actually I am moving in a direction. It's just not a teacher, but I am building platform for becoming a teacher. And then right after graduation, I applied for PhD in psychology.
Yeah. And then that PhD in psychology is what was able to propel you into executive. Uh, no? Am I wrong?
Oh, not at all, not at all. Again, I started to be a psychologist, a school psychologist, because at that time I didn't have any opportunity for other psychologists. Then I started to work with the clients, etc. And I found that actually I liked organizations more than
Mm.
working with specific people, because when I ask them like why, what, etc., it's always come to the environments, to organizations. At that time, oh no, I have to be a little bit back. So I started to work on my psychology, which was psychology doctorate, which was about psychology of choices.
Hmm.
Why did I make it? Now I'm asking myself again and again. because I wanted to solve my problem of not capable to make choices. So I use this research to reflect of how I make choices, and I arrived to the conclusion. So like my whole PhD was that people are divided into two kind of groups. The one group, they are ready to make their choices and take ownership for their choices, significant choices, which means turning your life here and here, which might be professional, move to another country, move to another profession, etc. Sometimes in personal choices as well, but I'm more focused on professional choices. And people who don't want to make choices, they refuse to make choices, and they actually become angry when they're asked to make choices. They just ask like, what do you mean? Of course, this is the only way to behave. Like, who would be stupid moving from my city to another city? Like I'm already in the best place. Like, why would I even consider? And this was another group of people. So this was my first move, psychology. And then I started to work with clients. And I found there are so many interesting clients in executive positions and their wife and their partners.
And at that time, it was mostly men who were the executives, women were the wives, right? Yeah,
Not mostly, but like
100%.
officially at least 100%. Again, it was post-Soviet area, and it's just very traditional mindset. Now I must give them a credit, it's very much changed. It's changed, but it was 90s. Yeah, so no, absolutely. It was men executives, women, their wives. And I found that the problems this executive had very often were related to the choices. They were capable to make choices, but many of their employees didn't. And they wanted to have partners, they wanted to have like next level in their organization, somebody who capable, interesting, and interested, and ready to make choices. And then for me, it was like a aha moment. And actually, I developed even a methodology for the companies, how to assessment methodology, how to assess potential leaders in your organization. If it's a person extremely smart, very excellent, I don't know, salesperson, engineer, finance person, doesn't matter. But this person doesn't see that it's every single moment you have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
There is no situation where we don't have a choice. They don't exist. We might see this and make the choice. Like, of course, if my choice would be you, or like you remember when I worked in university, I also felt stuck in one moment, but I knew that until you graduate, I made my choice, but it was my choice. This is the choice. But people who say like, no, I don't have choices, they are not capable to be leaders. And this is how I moved to executive level. I started to work.
I was gonna say I work in corporate, which is I think where we're different. Like I'm a corporate girl. That's all that's what I do 9 to 5. And I work with a lot of senior leaders who cannot make a choice for the life of them, and it drives me crazy. And I think it's conditioning from you because I hear about, even before I knew what the hell psychology of choices was, I remember you talking to me about it, and now I sit in these meetings and I'm like, how can you not just pick one? Like you have to decide. Just think about the pros, think about the cons, think about your opportunity cost, and make a choice. And they can't do it. And it's I talked to you last week about not even a director, but a colleague who has no responsibility to anyone, to just, in my opinion, when you have no responsibility, it makes making a choice easier, not to him. And then so I'm sitting here just like scratching, trying to beg somebody to just let me pick and go. And I think from talking to you today, I'm realizing, oh, it's not, I think I'm the outcast. I'm the one who's like, the different one, and everyone else is comfy in corporate world, just not making choices and sitting there waiting for financials to come back or sitting there waiting for somebody else to make the call. And it's, how are we going to do anything? Like, that's impossible.
So we are coming to, yeah, that's why you are a corporate girl right now, because you are still young, you're still establishing yourself. But I can bet $100, I'm not sure if they will bet more, that give you time and you will be like, hey, I'm changing this organization or I am moving to another organization. And then you will have choice to stay in a comfort zone
Mhm.
because, of course, you're already feeling very good in this organization. And in 5 years, you will be even better in this organization. You will be it will be comfort zone for you. Then you will have stopped staying in this comfort zone. And we call this position focused strategy.
Mm,
Yeah, it's a very close mind. I mean, it's close minded because it's framed. It's nothing bad about this. It's just like, it is what it is. This is what framed. It is what it is. This is my organization. This is my job. This is my profession. I'm good in what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Fine. And this is squared kind of very safe job,
mhm,
right? Safe place. And you will be highly respected. You will have your nice house in suburban area. By this time, you will have a kid, then another one, then another one. And 30 years later, you are ready for retirement. It's a position-focused strategy, which is nothing bad about this, but I would die. For me, it would be suffocating. But I know many people who would be there. So yeah, it's a position
yeah,
job. You find the place where you don't have to make choices and you follow the flow. That's it.
yeah.
Okay.
I remember I
Many
was
people who stay in corporations for years, this is to these people, unless they're growth focused. We
right.
just climb, climb,
Climb,
climb,
climb, climb, climb, climb.
climb, climb, climb. Yeah, but very linear climbing.
Hmm.
They still have very kind of narrow view, like who they are. I'm a financial guy.
Right. Analyst, senior manager, director, partner, CFO, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. I'm a supply chain purchasing. We call this career ladder, right? So
Right.
it's like and for them it's very clear, and they just always in this kind of red, race. Like this is a corporate rats, we call this, because they're
Hmm.
running until they done.
Right.
Yeah.
There is a lot of benefit that comes with that, though, I have to say. Like, I mean, sure, you're running, but you always talk about how picture yourself in 5 years, and it always starts with where you're sitting. And I think even college kids, before they know unless they're like, all I want to do is be surfing and then writing a blog at a coffee shop, which I went through that. I think from the 2018 to 2022, that was all my dream was. Now I think it's a bit different because that just sounds boring. Um, but I think
I'm interrupting. It was exactly me from 22 to 24, sitting in my nice office. Sometimes I have clients who come to this would be one flower, would be another flower, would be the picture of my diploma. And I'll ask, how do you feel about whatever you feel? Was my picture of me between 21, I would say, to 25.
mhm,
And then I became that, like, same questions to the same people. Again, it's not about profession.
right.
It's about doing the same or not doing the same. By the way, we just talked with you about self-focused strategy, which is nothing wrong about this, but your brain becoming lazy and like,
It becomes very good at some things, I think, which is staying in self-focus. Like you become very good at prioritizing yourself, right? That's at least my opinion, right? And then you your brain gets lazy in the new opportunities sector, I think, but your opportunity on yourself, I think you're always focused on what's in it for me. If the benefit does not outweigh the effort to me, I don't want it. Like the benefit
Good.
is I get paid and the benefit is okay, enough coming in for me to just do what I want to do. Okay, that's the benefit. And but
But
then your
not
brain,
enough them to put pressure on me. This is the
yeah.
key. Like to be paid to enough for me to, to be independent, but not more for them to have any pressure on me or any hooks of me. Yeah. So now we know what is a position focused, right?
Mm,
And I was in each of them.
mm,
And it's fine, any of them fine, as long as we understand the game what we are playing right now.
while you're
Like
there. Yeah.
why I'm there, what is my strategy, and strategy to be in position, fine, because it gives you safety. And when you have little kids, it's exactly what you want. Or when you're an immigrant and you just move to another country, guess what? You need a job. You need position. You need to establish yourself. So people right from college, guess what? They are position focused. They need a job. And they also need position. It's more than a job. They need a space in the society. They call themselves like, I am a young I'm young professional here. I am a whoever they want to talk themselves. So as you can see, parents, people who are right after college, people who just moved to another country, they might choose position focused strategy at the some period of time and then move to another one. But other people not choose, they stuck with this place for life. And then they defined by this job. We know one person like you and me, we know the same person from Utah, right? So it's like the same job, the same place for life. And this person never asks questions, what's next?
Yeah.
And they never ask questions like, and do I have any anxiety? This is a safe chair. This is a safe room. I'm doing the same stuff. This is position. But self is kind of similar and different. If
Mm,
you choose for some period of time to be self-focused, good for you, because it's very good for your well-being. And it's usually at the beginning of the career or somewhere when we burn down, it might be here.
mm,
And very often at the end of the career, like when you just like, okay, I paid my dues, my children I'm set with this, I'm good with this, my mortgage is paid, now I'm self-focused. So if it's some period of time and we know why we choose this, because we need to recover, we need to be healthy, perfect.
mm.
But if you want to build all your life about self-focus, you become the same as that person in his safe chair in Utah, but you just in your sunbed in Hawaii. Nice place to be, but first, who pays your bills? So you are not independent, really. You have to have sugar daddy, sugar mama. Sometimes they're your parents, sometimes your partner, sometimes whoever you found. Or sometimes it's a job, kind of lazy job. But the problem is that your brain, like you don't like the same would happen with muscles if you don't go to gym and you lay down on sofa. Even if you are born with a very good body, guess what? By age of 35, you're kind of like a jelly, same as brain.
But can I ask,
So
so when I picture, someone who just wants to not be bothered, have a job, and, there's that to me, like I imagine someone who's like an engineer who just wants to tinker, like who finds value every day. Like they don't see it as a waste of 8 hours a day to go to work. They really enjoy sitting there and building their new models or building their new printed circuit boards, or because I talk to them every day. Is that self-focused? Like, or are you driven differently? You're driven towards your tinkering instead of towards yourself, right?
I think it's edge focused. Now we come to my favorite.
Mm, really? You
Because
think
they,
so?
I don't know, it depends. I cannot say you about everybody, but if the person, again, let's take one engineer, like the same engineer profession. Engineer who makes as as less
Yeah,
effort possible just to go like this, just to
got
have
it.
my money, like example of what we discussed last week with you.
Yeah.
The person who just does the minimum possible just
So
to
like check,
go
check.
by. Yeah, check, check, check. It's a self-focused, even if it's
Mm-hmm.
an engineer. The person who is doing their job very seriously, but like staying in this box and they check boxes and feel so important, but they honestly, all you ask why you are doing this, for safety, for
Mm,
safety. It's a different motivation. And these people are very much reliable, unlike the first one. They are
mm-hmm.
reliable, but they do this for the job, not for themselves, for the job. And
Mm,
they feel safety, they feel in comfort of this box. This would be position focused. Then again, we go to the engineer who loves doing what they're doing. You know, she or he doesn't care about the growth, doesn't care about clear like labels. They just love the process. They love
mm-hmm.
this figure out. And they love solving problems. They love it. And through the years, they actually become very good expert in something. And usually it's multidimensional. So they start as a mechanical engineer, but then they just
Mm-hmm.
become interested a little bit in design, but they kind of they have the idea of maybe it should be a little bit electronics, and they self teach themselves, and this is who they are. By the way, your father was like that. Was edge focus, exactly. So
Mm.
did he care about his growth, money, status, position in the society? No, give him his computer, give him his something to do, and he will be happy. This is the edge focused.
Mm.
Edge focused.
Mm.
And the same engineer who wants to be one level engineer, then another engineer, then another, and then become higher and higher, and very clear that he or she wants to grow all the time to become a chief engineer and somewhere. This would be growth. So it might be in engineering, it might be in medicine, it might be in psychology, whatever area. But this is like what strategy we
Mm.
choose, if we
That's
choose.
interesting.
Otherwise, we just follow the flow.
Yeah, it's interesting. I get, um, I don't think anybody would ever ask me this out loud, but when I explain this concept to friends or coworkers that I can hear going, like they've literally said the words to me, I don't know where to turn. I feel like I've reached my limit and I'm stuck. I'm like, oh, I actually have so much to tell you and ask you about, but then they kind of stop listening to me because they don't understand, like, why would I need something that tells me what to do when I'm making the decisions already myself or trying to figure it out myself? And I think that's the difference. I think it's understanding what the motivation is in each of those four pillars and quadrants. It makes it possible to make those decisions. Otherwise, you're going to churn, 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 churn until you maybe come up with one that, like, this one looks like it fits. Okay, I'll go there. But you're not actually making the decision. You're like letting the decision come to you. But it seems like when you know your quadrants, then you're like, okay, got it. Right now I'm position focused. I'm not even gonna look at new industries. Let me just look at right here, right now. My one motivation right now is to get a better salary in my position. What do I need to do to get a better salary in my position? But if you then find out that you're actually growth focused, you're like, okay, what do I need to do to jump up from senior associate to director? And that's your decision. It's not everything, right?
Yes, and usually when you feel that it's time, You know, like when is also moment. Okay, you decided your position, like exactly what you said. Like you know that you're establishing yourself. You know that now it's yeah. And you know, don't bother with the next move. Don't make strategy for the sake of strategy. Good strategy always start with the challenge. So when you do your job, you work as executive assistant in a nice company, you figure out what it means to be executive assistant. It will take you like a couple years to become really good, and you actually move some kind of within organization, and then you ask yourself, like, and when you feel that like that's it, I'm already amazing executive assistant, so I feel kind of stuck, then go and make news. Then ask yourself, what do I want next? So every time when we reach some kind of plateau, this is the time to ask. When we are still climbing in our work, it's just don't
You already have
use.
your challenge. You don't need a new challenge.
Exactly, exactly. Like for instance, you guys right now, like I look at my former students and they're all your age, it's kind of like 20s. You're not yet, very many of you are not yet in plateau. You are still climbing. You like almost kind of can see you in the kind of like this wall of this, you know, climbing. You're trying to establish yourself and understand what you are doing and establish who you are. And you are mostly in position strategists, very many of you, because you are not yet comfortable in this position, you know, like does make sense. But when you ask what's next, or when you don't even ask, sometimes you just feel this anxiety, kind of like, what am I doing? Am I what I'm working like crazy for what? For what? Then yeah, then it's time for you to ask. And maybe you decide like, no, I want to stay where I am because right now my time is to establish my family. Stay where you are and redefine this and be in peace with this. But it's again, strategy always make from point one to point another. It's never for life. It's like, okay, I am right now in the challenge. What's next? I choose my strategy, this one, and I'm going to. So my story, when I graduated from college, I was a self-focused. You remember this, like I wanted my nice room, etc., etc. Yeah. Then my country collapsed, economy collapsed. It was a crisis, so it didn't work, and I needed money. I needed to support my family, and my skills at that time were more marketable than my husband's skills because he was a nuclear physicist researcher. When the country collapsed, this is the most kind of disposable, I would say, unfortunately. So I needed a job. I got a job and I work in this job, but quite fast, the 2 years, maybe 3 years, I work like crazy to become a teacher, psychology for businesses. And I worked 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 to prove myself, to be there. I didn't care about growth at the time. I didn't care about being unique. I didn't care definitely about myself. I wanted to be good in my job because I needed the job. And I like the position, you know, like I'm a professor of this and that. I like how it sounds. It's job. I like a status it gave me, like money it gave me. It was good money, good status. I was good. And then I ask myself, okay, I teach this course already 5 times. I've taught this course already 6 times. And it's like again and again. And I started to feel suffocated. I remember that moment. And it was around 32. Sorries, yeah. I started, then you came, by the way, and I started to feel like, I don't want to repeat the same again and again. I want to be bigger, and I was into growth. And I started to, you know, to to apply for grants. I started to travel a lot. I came to Columbia Business School. I come here, there, and thank God at that time your father helped very much with the family, and of course our amazing grandma. It was a growth until I reached the maximum in that country.
Yeah.
And at that particular place, so Belarus, it's a very small market. So it would be the same if somebody reach maximum in Juneau, Alaska, or maximum in the organization. Doesn't matter, but you feel maximum in where you grow. So I felt
What's
to my
next?
maximum. And yes, I guess it was the only hoping what I did, because I left for America without any real plan. It's the only plan that 2 years we will try, and if it doesn't work, they will be happy to accept us. And then again, it started my position because I needed a job. I needed a job, and job in English, and a professor, American professor. I had to write my papers. I had to publish in America. Position. You see, self, position, growth. I moved like in our chart from self to position to growth. Then again to position because it's safer. And then when I reached again maximum there, what I could reach in our my previous job, I moved for the growth. I moved to Boston. And now when I feel very comfortable in growth, I'm kind of reached already everything what I wanted to reach. I'm moving to edge.
How do you see move from your last university to Northeastern as growth? Technically, you're not. Is it because of the status of the university, or like what about that is growth?
Status of university, but also the place I wanted to be. Yeah, not just status. I wouldn't say it was status. It was the yes, status maybe, but also, Boston was academic hub. It's like if you are making movies in somewhere and then you're invited to Hollywood. Hollywood would be growth, right? So Boston is a Hollywood for higher education. So I moved to this top of the top, the same as Boston for medical, for instance. It's top, like this is a challenge. It's like so much higher. And I must say, everything what I believed I was good at, I had to re-establish myself to become good. Boston is a top. You have to be 10 of 10 all the time, out of 10. Yeah. And so I guess it's okay to be in every type of strategy. All of them are good as long as you are aware of the challenge you have right now. What do you need? You need safety and kind of position safety just to, to establish yourself. Maybe this is your choice. Become position focused until you establish yourself, and then ask what you want. And you can move here or you can move there for the growth. It's what I did every time. Or you can move to self, what people do in retirement, or people do, being like your coworker. I think he started, my educated guess, that he years ago started as a position focused. He established himself. And then he said, like, been there, play this card, don't bother me again. And he started to be in self-focused. And sooner or later, his managers will figure out this and they will challenge him. And then he will have a choice to move back and become good in profession or to retire.
Do you see yourself completing the circle and moving your back to self eventually?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 73.
So by the time I give you grandkids is when you'll go back to self?
Yeah. And then every time when you ask me like, Mom, can you please pick up like my middle one? I'm just like, oh no, don't. I'm so busy with my glass of wine with my with my neighbor. Sorry.
Self-focused over here.
Self, yes. But I think I will be active very long. But I don't know, I will ask myself when I feel that I'm done kind of doing previous strategy, I'll ask myself. And maybe at the age of 75, I will say like, no, I still want to be an edge.
Mm,
I don't see myself in position because I kind of,
you've done it
it's,
twice.
yeah. Growth also, I've been there. I know that I know how to do this. I know how to reach whatever goals I have. But at least now I don't know. However, maybe BH Center for Global Talents, if I feel that I want this to be a worldwide, for everybody, then it will be growth. I will
Mhm.
tell you.
Yeah,
Now I am an edge.
cool. Okay, let's talk about me. Where do you think I am?
I think you are moving right now from a position. So before this, you were in position because you tried to understand what the job is, how to be good at. You wanted to be accepted in your position, having right title, having right, like how you call this, like paid system,
Level?
like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's not even about money per se. It's about being in this position, like, but now I feel that you are moving somewhere to growth and it becomes kind of fun for you to kind of feel that you are growing because growth, it's not just always reds, it's also flying, it's also having a wings, like, and moving up. I do have, yes, that like in 5 years, maybe in your 30s, you will be more like edge, more selective what you do, more specific your competitive edge, like what is special for you, and you will choose a project that fits you. Not right now you are doing whatever opportunities come to you and you
Mm-hmm.
follow the opportunities. And this is a position and growth. Both position and growth are following whatever is available. Position focused available jobs, they follow the jobs. Growth follows the chance. But it's all we given from outside. Does it make sense?
Yep.
But edge and self are focused on me. And I think when you establish yourself very well, and I think you're already there, now you grow. And then I think when you establish your family, etc., you will be selective on choosing only projects what you feel you.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I think when people hear selecting projects, it sounds like entrepreneurship, and that's not true, right? Like it doesn't have to be entrepreneurship. Do you like I actually still don't understand how I could be in corporate and be edge in business. I understand how engineers could do it or researchers could do it or designers can do it, but when you're in business, you just do whatever you do whatever the business needs, which is like sometimes it's um negotiating, sometimes it's thinking of operating change, but like I don't understand how you can be edge if you're not in one of those engineering professions.
Yes, you can, especially in
Mm,
organizations like yours, which I really like how corporate culture in your organization, everything what you tell me, I think it's your organization actually is very good for providing this space. Let's say you right now you're in job, you're going to grow, you work, yes, you're in your area. And then you think like, oh, actually, I want to combine these skills of what I have right now, like in supply chain, with my passion for travel. This is who I am. And by the way, like, how do I combine this? How do I combine this? Like, and especially sourcing like emerging economy. Not many people enjoying being in emerging economy. Many local people scared. They believe that it's America is so safe, but oh my
mm-hmm.
God, but in Czech Republic, it's not so safe. And Indonesia, you will be called, like whatever. But you are not like this. You understand that it's totally not true. So you will start thinking how to combine these in the same kind of project. And maybe you'll think like, like, okay, sourcing in these countries for my organization, very good. Okay, only in these emerging economies. And by the way, MIS, it's some kind of working around there. It will take time, but you bring these three different areas. One of them might be your degree, one of them might be your experience, and number three might be your passion. Doesn't matter. And by the way, your languages. And you will find the center. It will take time, but then you will have your idea and you will start speaking with your current stakeholders. It's your boss, like, why wouldn't we do this? Why wouldn't we do that? And you will establish your own space inside of the organization. By the way, it's exactly what I'm doing right now in my organization. Yeah, I am working for Northeastern University. I love this university. I think it's very, fast growing and very focused on what I'm focused on, employability. But at the beginning, as you remember, I was in a position. I was teaching my courses. Then I started to choose courses and, growth, honestly, not my game right now, not together. But now I'm making my own center. Something what I'm passionate about, edge inside of your corporation.
That makes sense. I see it. So like, for example, supply chain, travel, that's me. Supply chain is my whatever it's called. Expertise, thank you. Travel is my passion, and then I would say my interests are maybe like, let's say like travel hacking, because I always talk to you about get this new credit card, get this new mileage plan. Maybe an edge could be either like moving to a travel focused company and doing supply chain for them and systems, or it could be, hey, my interest is travel, my expertise is supply chain. I also have experience in setting up systems, and I also can speak a second language. I'm going to go set up a new manufacturing operation for us in Eastern Europe, right?
Exactly, for your current corporation. You ask me
Yeah.
if it can be in corporation. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Even the idea of this travel hacking, you have to think about this. I have to think about this. But I think you can translate this into sourcing because it's a sourcing. It's a sourcing of something what it's not traditional way of sourcing, I would say. It's more kind of like easy would be, okay, how can I get my airplane ticket? Okay, you go to website, you buy your ticket, perfect. To be very fiscally responsible, you check 3 of them and you make the best one. Okay, got it. But it's a traditional way. Untraditional is what you're talking about. And if you become, would be your amazing edge. If for the companies, you can be like this kind of person who will find these opportunities to source. And by the way, like, it will be another story for us because I look at the time for another story that what time is coming right now. It's my latest research of the changes of economic waves. Now we are at the beginning of 6th wave of Kondratiev. I will tell you for our next one. And this 6th wave already tell us what kind of people it will need. Yeah. Short answer, edge and self. But I will
self.
Yeah. Shelf and self. The edge and self, yeah. But again, it will be transforming, but we can do this another session about specific topic. Who will be in demand? What will be workplace very soon? What is the future of work? What kind of people would be in demand? And what kind of people will be, obsolete? Artificial intelligence already here. Lack of resources already here. Everything already here. So it's changing everything. And this is where my next research is.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I think we did a good job today. I learned more about the 4 quadrants than I've known before, and I built the assessment with with your strategies, but I feel like it makes a lot of sense how you move from one to the other, and I love the visual move of like you started here, went like this, and maybe you'll end up here and you'll close the square at the end. But yeah, I like it. I think we should stop there, and then next time we should talk about the anxiety and psychology.
Yes, the last moment. Some people stay with one type of strategy for life, which also
Mm, is an
quite
option.
popular. Like again, your father was edge from the beginning, and he never moved to any other quadrant. And this was his. It's every strategy has its pros and cons, and
Yeah.
we know the pros and we know the cons. Yeah.
Mhm.
And some people really fighting their whole life to stay in self-focused. They always look for somebody who will supply them. And they move from parents supplying them to partners supplying them to organizations supplying them. And the only goal they have doing as less as possible, as long as possible. And
Mhm.
it will be for life. So moving is,
Very good
I
point.
feel, is more healthy, but at the same time, staying in one, for me, it would be boring. But some people do this, and many people do this, as long as they understand what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Sweet.